What's up and welcome back to another video. My name is Devin Belanger, and as you know, if you've been watching my channel, I love lo-fi pedals. My Music is Miles Away is all about exploring nostalgia and the past. You can check it out up here or in the description if you've never heard my music before. And I find that using a synth or guitar or my Rhodes through a lo-fi pedal is often one of the ways I'll start songs and really try to get into that mood of kind of introspection and nostalgia. So I've tried probably every single lo-fi pedal on the market, from the big heavy hitters like the Generation Loss and some of the newer competitors like the Kinetone Ribbons, but there's something that just makes me come back time and time again to more simple, streamlined, analog lo-fi pedals that oftentimes are missing a bunch of features, are oftentimes only mono in, mono out, don't take line and synth level properly, so you have to really work hard to gain stage them. But there's just something about them that, to me at least personally, gets really close to that sound. The final thing to keep in mind, I'm totally aware that this is a very excessive setup for just getting this kind of sound. And if you're interested, my favorite lo-fi plugins are the Arturia Tape Mello-Fi and the XLN Retro Color. I talked about that in my plugin video a while ago. The Arturia one was free for a while, so you can definitely achieve similar sounds to this without spending a lot of money. But at the same time, for me at least, I love the tangibility of using pedals, and after trying pretty much every single lo-fi pedal, to my knowledge, on the market, these are the ones that really made the cut that I held onto. All right, so here we are on the pedal board. And yes, before you comment, there's no pedal board here. It's just a bunch of pedals. Go watch my studio tour up there. I explain why I like to not use a pedal board and instead have just a couple of pedals at a time on the desk, even if it looks a bit more chaotic. I've got my trusty pedals here. I've got a vinyl for inspiration on the side. Comment below if you know what vinyl this is from just the corner of it. It's the only vinyl that I own. I don't even have a record player, but I bought it at a thrift store because arguably it's my favorite album ever recorded. So let's jump in and start to just enable the pedals, and I'll talk to you about each one, why I chose it, and what I think it does well for this kind of beautiful, nostalgic lo-fi sound. So starting off, again, we've got our dry sound. Very, very pedestrian. So the first pedal in our list is the Fairfield Circuitry, shout out Canada, Meat Mod. Now Fairfield, if you like analog, lo-fi types of sounds, literally any of their pedals I could recommend. These are the two that I have, and they are fantastic. I talked about the Meat Mod before as one of my top 10 pedals for synths I've ever reviewed, which is a pretty controversial choice. It's pretty underrated in my opinion, and it's all over my records. And the reason for this is that it's the only pedal that I know that has an analog bucket brigade delay like this, but it has a built-in analog compressor for just the trails of the delay. So what that allows us to do is basically create this like really modulated wash. We have a random modulation. Listen to that. Because of the compressor, it slowly builds and builds and builds, but it never overtakes the signal. And it allows us to just create these beautiful drones behind our signal. So you were seeing me in the performance, and you'll see me more kind of mixing this in with nothing. Just really subtly, it creates these beautiful organic drones. It basically stops us from needing reverb. We've got a couple different controls here, like tone. We want to make it even more in the background. But I like it tone all the way open because it's pretty dry as is. All right, we're going to disable that for now and move on to our second pedal, the Chase Bliss Therme. Another pedal that made it into my top 10 pedals for synths list. I think this is, full stop, the nicest sounding single delay I've ever heard. And we don't even need to, let's bring in the mix really high so we can just hear it shine. We don't even need to use any of the fancy pitch shifting algorithms. I have them disabled on the dip switches on the back, and I'm just using a modulated delay. Let's over modulate it so you can hear. Open up the filter, it's nice and noisy. You might say, what, nice and noisy? No, that's the characteristic sound of these beautiful Bucket Brigade chips, the MM305. It's a gorgeous sounding delay, and you might ask, what makes this sound better than other delays that use the same chips, such as my prized Walrus Maracai, which I think is still my favorite delay pedal ever, pardon me, because it's stereo. It's a stereo version of this, but where the Thermae slightly edges it out sound-wise. And believe me, I've done tests. Maybe if there's enough demand, I'll do the video I was planning of a kind of bucket brigade analog delay shootout. Where the Thermae edges it out is this beautiful analog resonant low-pass filter. They are geniuses at Chase Bliss for putting a resonant analog low-pass filter into the signal, because what it does, if you catch certain resonant peaks, it makes the delay self-oscillate and build in the most musical way I've ever heard. Try to catch a resonant peak there. I'm kind of vibing out to this. There we go. We caught one. Because of the resonance, it just creates this beautiful dreamy sound where my feedback's not even too high, regen as it's called. Let's disable this for now and move on to the next one. The warped vinyl. This is my newest pedal acquisition. I did a trade with someone for this. And this is a beautiful pedal as well. This I'm using as a simple vibrato, but we could really just turn it into a chorus if we want. And what's really funny is typically in vibrato mode, the manual even says you want to have like your lag down and you want to play with your tone. Let's turn up the RPM. Because it's less noisy that way, right? And it's a beautiful sounding vibrato. Listen to this. Like again, without it, what a boring patch. It's just like the most, it still sounds good. I like Logic Retro Synth, but with warped vinyl, gorgeous, right? But I'm actually doing kind of the opposite of what the manual tells me to, which is a good tip for anybody who's interested in kind of seeing how they can push their gear. Just try stuff, experiment, right? So I have lag all the way up, which means there's a slight input delay in playing, but nothing that bothers me, and tone all the way up, which makes the pedal actually much noisier. Can you hear that white noise? Without. And this actually adds, it almost sounds like the noise of a needle on a vinyl record. It just adds this beautiful organic, again, all analog noise. Absolutely love it. And we really like that noise because the next pedal we're going into, which in my opinion, if you're just watching this video because you want to like learn what the best lo-fi pedal is, period, to me, this pedal, again, shout out Fairfield, Canadian-made company. This is like the king of all lo-fi pedals, and you'll hear why. So again, fully dry, nothing else in the chain is here. And we enable the meat mod. Sorry, the shallow water. Gorgeous pedal. So if we just turn the low pass gate off, we get kind of something similar to the warped vinyl, but a little bit more subtle. Which sounds incredible. It sounds glorious. You can also do the same thing where we turn the mix down and get a chorus. Although I will say, one of the reasons why I got the warped vinyl, because I'm crazy, is because I don't actually love using this as a chorus. I find it's a little too weird, whereas this can do the classic analog chorus, like boss chorus sound that I really love. This one I'm almost always using at 100% mix. But where the magic of the shallow water comes that's already magic. But is when we turn down this knob, the low pass gate. And what this does is it uses an envelope follower, I believe, to, as we press keys, the louder we press, so quiet, really soft and underwater, and then loud, we get more of the high end through. So this allows us to really grab a lot more dynamics out of our performance than we would be able to. And paired with that random LFO doing vibrato and the noise that's just inherently going to come in from this analog pedal with the Bucket Brigade chip doing chorus, it's just a magical effect. Like, listen to this. Gorgeous. This pedal is pure magic. But the final pedal on our list, which has been actually on the entire time, spoiler alert, is the Chase Bliss Clean. And if I disable the Chase Bliss Clean, you'll see all of this starts to kind of fall apart, because what I'm doing is I'm running a signal out of Logic incredibly quietly, so it doesn't clip these analog pedals that frankly aren't designed for really, really high synth line level. They're designed for instrument guitar level, right? So if I disable the Chase Bliss Clean, it still sounds great, but it's much quieter. The clean is just evening out our tone. We can bring makeup gain in and destroy our ears and clip. Let's not do that. All you need to know for now is I'm using the MISO mode, but I'm using it really subtly, so mono and stereo outs, so that the physics knob is on, so that if I play really loud and trigger the compressor, let's see if we can overdo this so we can hear. You hear that? That's really natural. There's no phasey tricks going on, and it just kind of gives us this extra bit of movement and life to our performance. Well, now that you understand what all the pedals are doing, let's perform on them. I'm going to start by enabling them one by one. All right, well, hopefully you enjoyed that improvised performance. Hopefully it brought back a feeling of nostalgia for something that you had almost forgotten, because that really is what I try to achieve when I play music through these kind of pedals and when I create these kind of soundscapes in my Miles Away tracks. Again, you can listen to that in the description of the video if you're curious. But let's talk about the pedals now that we're done performing. Which ones would I recommend? Well, all of them. And who would I recommend them to? Well, let's go in order of what we demoed. So starting off, the Fairfield Circuitry Meat Mod. This is, again, a fantastic pedal. One of my all-time favorite pedals, I have to say, but it really is a specialist, not a jack of all trades. The Fairfield Circuitry Meat Mod, it can't really actually do most things that you'd want a delay pedal to do. It's very, very short max delay time. There's no tap tempo. This is not, you know, your grandfather's delay pedal for doing kind of dotted eighth note guitar stuff, or even for, you know, doing synth delay. This, in my opinion, is all about creating that murky layer of analog feedback mud in the best way possible. I also really love, I did it a little bit towards the end of the performance, that you can turn the mix and the time all the way to the max, so sorry, all the way to the minimum for the time and max for the mix, and then use it almost with zero feedback as sort of a vinyl, warped vinyl-esque type of vibrato, weird lo-fi chorus thing. It works on some sounds better than others, but I love running guitars through this pedal for that reason. Next up, the Thermae. Where do I even begin? Now, the Thermae, I bought this a while ago because I had tried a couple different Chase Bliss pedals. They also had sent me a mood to do a video on, which is super nice of them. But I was really just in the market for a delay that would be kind of the delay to end all delays. And the Thermae really is that. Like, I don't use the modulated pitch jumpy stuff as much as I should. It is really cool, but just in terms of if you have a mono signal, this to me is just the best sounding delay, period. If you want one delay pedal that will just make whatever mono signal you throw at it sound incredible, this is the Thermae. It's so sad that something to do with the parts or the FCC regulations, I'm not sure exactly, they had to discontinue this pedal because they couldn't sell it in the EU, I believe, anymore. Someone correct me in the comments. But yeah, if you see one of these on the used market, definitely grab this because to my knowledge, it's one of the nicest pedals ever. Maybe Chase Bliss will work around something with manufacturing and create a stereo version. I would buy that so fast, and it would be a pretty worthwhile competitor, maybe even better than the Walrus Maracai, which go check out my Walrus Maracai video. That's my current favorite delay pedal because of the stereo. Chase Bliss Thermae, not exactly a lo-fi pedal, but it's lo-fi adjacent and it sounds amazing. You'd get a lot of mileage out of this if you grab this one. Next up, the Chase Bliss Warped Vinyl. Now, the Warped Vinyl is the newest pedal on the list, so I probably don't know it as well as the others. I actually got it because I really liked the chorus sounds on it. I'm really picky with chorus, especially mono chorus, and I really don't like a lot of the choruses built in on the synths that I have either. But the Warped Vinyl chorus sounds amazing, and as a bonus, it does really, really nice vibrato. However, the biggest surprise for me was actually what I showed you where you turn the tone and lag all the way up to the right, and there's this wonderful little like almost envelope following white noise sound that just adds such a vibe to the vibrato sounds. I would say this is probably the least important pedal on this list. You could definitely get away with replacing this with just a cheaper vibrato pedal or just not having it at all if you have the shallow water. And between this and the shallow water, I would definitely get the shallow water. This feels sort of like a luxury pedal, which I'm definitely very lucky to have the luxury to be able to have all these pedals. But yeah, it's a really, really great pedal. If you have it, it sounds amazing. However, if you're really into lo-fi sounds, I would probably go for one of the others on the list as well. The penultimate pedal, the Fairfield Shallow Water. Now, where to begin with this? I think just to cut to the chase, if you're gonna get one lo-fi pedal from this list and you're kind of watching this as a comparison rather than just a creative exploration, get this one. This pedal, in my humble opinion, just does something magical to the signal, especially when the low pass gate is enabled. And it truly just makes anything you throw at it sound so much better, so much more organic and alive. The only caveat being that to take advantage of that low pass gate, you're gonna get a really sort of like underwater top end shaved off sound. So definitely don't buy it expecting some really hi-fi, lots of, presence in your sound. It's much more sort of a vibe of slowing things down, making things sound kind of old, far away distance, which is exactly what I like using it for. And it's been on so many records. For everybody who's asked me over the years, why haven't I done a video on this? This is the video on this now. I love this pedal. It's on every single Miles Away record so far. And this, along with the Meat Mod, are fantastic. I think that if you're just gonna get one, you'll probably get more mileage with this, but the two together work phenomenally. And I actually have to say, I probably use the Meat Mod slightly more just because I can kind of replicate this a little bit in the DAW with different tape plugins and low pass filters, but I've yet to find anything that can replicate what the Meat Mod can do. So shout out Canada. If you do come down here as well, our dollar is really weak right now, so you can just order directly from Fairfield and pick it up and take it back. But Fairfield Circuitry, you guys make my favorite lo-fi pedals ever. And then the final pedal on this list, it's not even a lo-fi pedal, but it can do lo-fi adjacent things. And again, it pairs really well with them, especially the Shallow Water. Look out for more of that in my full-on dedicated video. But basically the Clean, amazing compressor. I bought this with my own money as well, and I've just been using it a ton. It works on everything, but specifically for lo-fi applications, I would say get a lo-fi pedal first, and then if you feel that it's sort of the dynamics, it's killing too much of your tone, it's not really sitting right in the mix, this would be the pedal to get for that. And the physics knob, again, it really simulates well, whether or not it's supposed to. For me, in my ears, it does. It simulates well the sort of wear knob on a lot of lo-fi plugins and pedals, and sounds phenomenal, especially considering all these other pedals are mono, and this is the only way that I've found that naturally gives a really nice and organic stereo image to a lot of these really vibey mono lo-fi pedals without overdoing it and making it sound artificial. Great pedal. Definitely not a dedicated lo-fi pedal, but I would recommend this 100 times over. It's probably my favorite Chase Bliss pedal, either this or the Thermae for sure. If you're still watching, that's all the pedals. A couple quick notes about digital pedals and plugins. Like I mentioned, I love the Arturia Tape Mello-Fi and XLN Audio Retro Color. I also bought and then sold a Generation Lost Mark II. Absolutely love it, phenomenal pedal, but to me, the fact that it was digital, I just found more of a workflow with using Retro Color, XLN, and Arturia Mello-Fi. So if you do have a Generation Lost, incredible pedal, great, hold on to it. But for me personally, it wasn't as useful because I just had such a good workflow with plugins. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Again, let me know in the comments what your favorite lo-fi pedal, plugin, device is. I absolutely love lo-fi sounds, and I'm always looking to try new ones. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Devin Belanger, and I will see you in the next video.